two-effective parent-child relationship when A, adoption of paternity. Court will know for the record that Mr. Gordon is being represented by the Pritchard firm. The state is present, and Mr. Brimall, I probably don't have everything that's in this file. Are you retained, or were you?
Yes, yes, Judge. I'm representing Miss Sullivan.
All right, so you retained representing Miss Sullivan, and so the court will know for the record the lawyers are present. All the lawyers are present. So I'll start with the lawyers. I asked the state for an opening to tell the court what the state's requesting we do here today. Then what you understand the issues to be contest and agreed. And then I'll let the respondent fathers, the Pritchard firm, Ms. Sucker make an opening, and then Mr. Brimall make an opening. Thank you.
Your Honor, the state is requesting temporary orders today with a reset for a special setting for final hearing. It's my understanding that there is no agreement between the parties that includes who to be named the primary conservator of the child, Charlie. I guess that's the fundamental nature of it. If we can't decide where the child lives, they can't agree on anything else either.
All right, then let's find out. I'll give you an opening and tell me where the folks. Again, I don't have custody battles on Zoom. I'm sorry, it's just not going to happen. So let me give me some background where this. Let me see. How old is Charlie at this point? Let's see. So he's going to be 5 this year. Yeah.
Yes, Your Honor.
6. Okay. All right. So. Well, since this is not a UCJAE one, I don't have the 5-year affidavit of where this child has lived for the past 5 years. So I'll let the lawyers tell me what their understanding is, what they're requesting for on behalf of their clients, and and let me know where this child has been at least for the last couple of years. Thank you. And I'll start with you, Ms. Sumter. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, it is my understanding that for the last 4-5 years since the child was born, the couple has lived together with the child in a common home, and my client, Charles Gordon, has actually been the main breadwinner in that family. As I understand it, Miss Caitlin Sullivan is disabled. She's unable to drive. She's unable to do many things for herself. And Miss Caitlin actually does live with the mum of Charles Gordon, who takes care of all of her basic needs. Right now, actually, my client feels that because he's unemployed and unable to provide a residence for the child to live, he is actually willing to concede that the child continue to live with Miss Sullivan. Unfortunately, we cannot say that will be the situation continuously, because in the future, when my client gets a job, he is seeking to get sole custody for himself. As I understand it, as of today, both parties, I think, will be fine with standard visitation. There is a request for the restriction to be in Collin County. As I understand, both parties currently are living in Collin County. And I think that's the only contentious issue we have today.
Both parties in Collin County?
Both parties live in Collin County, although at the time that they filed this lawsuit, Your Honor, they did have standing to file in Coryell County.
Okay, I would say I didn't have the slightest idea what Collin County is, but my best friend is from Farmersville, which is just about 30 miles other side east of McKinney. So I kind of know where this is. I've been through it way too often. Great golf courses up there now, though. Yeah. Anyway, I'll go ahead and let you make your opening, Mr. Brimall. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge. Yes, up until very recently, my client resided in Coryell County. I believe Mr. Gordon has not resided with Miss Sullivan for at least a year. I believe they separated around March or late February of last year. I understand the court is likely going to reserve any testimony and evidence related and regarding to retroactive child support, and I'm perfectly fine reserving that for a future hearing. It sounds like to me the issues are going to be specifically, number one, any kind of geographic restriction on the residence of the child. My request to the court is that my client, Ms. Sullivan, maintain the residence of the child. As I said, she was living with the child up until just a couple months ago, alone in Coryell County. And she has now relocated up to Collin County. So my request would be, and she still has family in Coryell County in the Bell County area as well. So my request would be that if the court does order a geographic restriction, that it include Coryell and contiguous counties, in addition to Collin County, and potentially any contiguous counties to Collin County. So kind of two spheres of residential location. Although my preference would be to have it just be Coryell and contiguous and throw in Collin County for the time being. Regarding child support, during the time period in which the parties resided, it's my understanding that Mr. Gordon worked out of state for long stretches of time and would come back to Coryell periodically. And my understanding of his income at that time is that he was making at least at a minimum $5,600 a month. He's now saying he's unemployed. So my request would be that this court, after hearing testimony and evidence, find that he is quite significantly underemployed. He did not leave that job due to any injury he sustained at the job. I think he's fully capable of working in the same or similar industry at the same or similar pay levels. And so I believe the state has calculated a whole bunch of different permutations about support. I think on the lower end of that scale would be the $5,600 a month based on what he was making last summer. I think there's going to be some evidence that he made roughly at least $83,000 last year, and is certainly capable of making that same amount this year. And then, of course, my request would be that he be ordered to pay both child support and medical support, in this case on an ongoing basis, until further order of the court. And regarding visitation, I think that's perfectly fine as announced by my esteemed colleague. I think the parties are generally working out when the visits happen, when the exchanges happen. So I think just to make sure that all of that is communicated in writing, I think it's appropriate for the court to order the parties to use a co-parenting app close. And then because his job or previous jobs required him to have somewhat of an irregular schedule, I think some kind of 24, 48-hour notice requirement prior would be appropriate, just so that my client has time to make sure that the child's available and ready and so on.
All right, let's get some testimony. Let's find out some information about, my understanding is that the mother may be living with his mother. So
That's correct. Yeah, she's currently residing with.
Stop. You don't have to do that. I got that. Anyway, let's go ahead and get some testimony from the parties, and let's get some information about where they're going to be, and some employment information on from the father, and let's see where we're going to go with this as far as the temp's concerned, and then I'll look at a reset date out in the future if they'll get this thing finalized. So at this time, I'm going to ask Ms. Sullivan and Ms. Salter, where's your client, please? Is he with you, or is he independent in here? Sorry, I didn't see.
He's logged in independently as Mr. Gordon.
Okay,
Charles.
there he is. Okay, I'm sorry. All right, Mr. Gordon, there you are. All right, I'm going to ask both of you and Ms. Sullivan to raise your right hands, please. All right, do you both solemnly swear or affirm your testimony going to give your days the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you?
I do.
Yes.
All right, thank y'all both very much. I'm going to let the state call you as individual witnesses, or if the state wants to defer to the counsel for the parties to do so at this time, I'll let them do it. But obviously, this is the state's lawsuit, so I'll let the state call their first witness. Thank you.
Your Honor, the state will defer in this case.
All right, then, Ms. Sunker, I'll start with you and then go to Mr. Brimall. Thank you. So call your first witness, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'll call my client.
All right, Mr. Gordon, still state your full name for the record, sir.
Charles Gordon, Charles Douglas Gordon.
All right, thank you very much. You may proceed, Ms. Sunker.
Okay, and what do you do for a living, Mr. Gordon?
I was working in the telecom industry.
Okay, and how much do you normally earn a month when you are employed?
It varies wildly. Overtime, jobs, customers, it varied greatly.
If you had to give out an average of what you would normally make, is it around the $5,000 a month mark?
It would be anywhere from 4,000 to 8,000.
Mr. Gordon, here's the thing. What did you earn in the last 12 months? That's what I'm supposed to look at, okay? So let's look at the last year, sir. So let's just look at the overall of 2023. Thank you.
I provided my W-2 for the last year. It was something in like around that 83,000 probably. I'm not looking at it right now, but provided it to the court and both attorneys.
All right, thank you. You may proceed, Ms. Sunker.
And since the two of you have separated and stopped living together, have you paid any child support to Ms. Sullivan?
Yes.
I'm going to object only because I think final
Stop,
hearing.
stop.
If the court's been
Overruled. It's a
Okay.
legitimate question, Mr. Brimall. What money has he
Well,
paid?
okay.
Because I can see whether or not I'm going to use that going forward, sir. So yeah. I need to know.
Okay. All right. I just didn't want to waste the time if
we're
we're going to
good,
address
we're
it
good.
later.
Again, I'm trying to see what he's been playing and how often
That's
he's
fine.
playing, and that way I can get some idea of what I'm looking at.
That's
problem.
fine. I'll withdraw the question. I'll withdraw my objection.
All right, no, thank you, sir. You may proceed, Ms. Sunker.
Thank you, Anna. And have you been paying any child support to Ms. Sullivan?
I've paid her every month since we've been separated, as well as taking care of her all the months previous for the last few years.
Okay, and how much have you been paying her in child support?
At least $1,500 a month. It varied. At the end, we had a lease agreement together, and once that lease agreement was up, her bills greatly lessened, so payments lessened as time went on. Just here recently at the end of the year, as I said, she's living with my mother, so my family supports her. She was never living alone at any time.
Mr. Gordon, here's the thing, sir. Listen to the question and answer the question, sir. How much you've been paying her, and since she's moved out of that apartment, how much you've been giving her since then, sir?
All right, and so you gave her less money after her expenses were lessened, is that right?
Correct.
And when did you stop paying her support?
I don't believe that I have stopped paying her support.
Okay, so you're not really in arrears with support, is that right?
I didn't understand what you just said. Repeat.
Yeah, I'm going to object to that.
You're not really owing.
Sustain. Here's good. All right, sir. How much have you been giving her each month since she's moved in with your mother?
It's varied. I haven't sent the same thing each month.
I got that, sir. How much? What's the average, sir? What do you think? I'm on an estimate. I don't need the exact amount. Just give me a guesstimate.
Yeah, I think the last payment was $500. And I also provided proof to both attorneys.
Okay. So
of payments.
All right. So you paid the last payment was $500, and when was that?
Last month.
All right. And okay. So in the month of and I'm gonna say the last month was March. So you have you paid anything in the month of April?
No, I have not.
All right. Did you pay anything in February?
Yes.
How much?
I don't know, but I provided the list. If you want to give me a moment, I can pull up the information I provided to both attorneys already.
Judge, if I can present. Okay.
All right, pull up your list, sir.
Yep, I will do. Can you still hear me?
Yes, I can.
Caitlin Sullivan, February 23rd, $300. January 23rd, $500. December 15th, $1,100. November 24th, $1,100. How far do you want me to go back?
That's good enough, sir. Thank you. And then when did she move out of the apartment? To the best of your knowledge?
I think it was beginning of December.
Okay, thank you.
Could be wrong about that.
All right, thank you very much. Ms. Tucker, you may proceed. Thank you.
Thank you, Anna. All right, so Charles, at this time, are you asking for the court to restrict the geographic location that Caitlin is living in until you are, I mean, is that what you're asking? Are you asking for a geographic restriction to Collin County? Hello?
Is he there? Did we lose? No, he's still there. I'm sorry. There you go.
Charles, can you hear me?
Yeah, it muted. I can hear you. It muted when I came back and I didn't notice.
Yeah, I'm
Yep.
asking
Yes,
you,
that
are
is
you
what I'm
asking for a restriction of the geographic location where
Yes, ma'am.
Charlie, okay, and can you tell the court why?
I'm asking that it be restricted so that if I have to pick her up on the weekend, I'm able to do that, and it's reasonable for me to drive 4 hours to go pick her up, to drive 4 hours back, to have to do that again on Sunday before 6 o'clock. I'll spend the majority of my time with my daughter in the car, or she'd be asleep. So that's why I'm just trying to make sure that the child doesn't get moved. We had a previous
Hey,
agreement.
sir.
Okay.
You're trying to explain your answer. Don't do that, please. Thank you.
Okay, that's fine. That's
Just
fine.
gotta listen to the question and answer the question and stop, please. Your
Okay.
attorney will expand as necessary. Thank you, sir.
All right. And so do you object at this time to Caitlin having primary custody of Charlie? She will be the one
No.
who will, okay. And are you saying that you don't mind being a parent who has joint managing conservatorship with Caitlin?
Correct.
Okay. And are you saying that you would like court to set an order for standard visitation as is basically granted in Texas, so that you may have access to Charlie
Correct.
to visit? Okay. And are you asking the court to give you an opportunity to find a job so that you can basically start paying child support again?
Correct.
Okay. I'll pass the witness at this time, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Brimhall, your witness.
Can you hear me, Mr. Gordon?
Yep.
All right. So what I want to ask you about is currently, so tell me where you were working last summer. Like, what was the name of the company and where was it located?
Last summer, I was working for East Tex Tower. They have an office in Colorado Springs. They also have an office in Longview, Texas.
Okay. And when did you stop working for that company? What was your last day, if you remember?
My last day was in February at some time. I took time off for Charlie's heart surgery. My last paycheck came at the beginning of March, but my last working day was mid-February.
Okay. And you had already been served with a copy of the petition from the state in this case, is that right?
When I quit my job in February, I had been served this paperwork. That is correct. Yep.
Okay. You were served mid-January sometime, is that right?
I believe that is correct.
Okay. In the last 2 months, have you turned in any job applications? Have you looked for work? Tell me what you're doing to find a new job.
Yeah, I was going to start a CD.
Stop for just a second, sir. What was the reason for you leaving the last job, sir?
I got to come home once every 2 months. I just watched my daughter have heart surgery, and I couldn't leave her again for that long period of time.
So
They
you
cut my daughter
voluntarily, I'm
open.
sorry, so you voluntarily left your employment, correct?
Correct.
All right, so, and you're not getting any unemployment because of that, correct?
Correct.
All right, thank you. You may proceed, Mr. Brimall.
Okay, and I also wanted to clarify, you were not injured or in any way physically unable to do the job that you left. Is that right?
I do have sciatica, and it is causing me reason to want to leave the career that I was in. I am not physically able to put on a harness and wear it for 8 hours at a time anymore. So yes, I do have physical reasons for leaving. That is not the reasons I gave for quitting the job. But yes, I have physical limitations and reasons for wanting to quit.
Okay, but you weren't discharged by the employer for any inability to perform the job. Is that right?
We've already gone over that it was voluntary that I quit
Good.
that job.
All right. And so tell me where you have applied.
There's a job working in a steel plant that would have put me home every 2 to 3 weeks. I had a job offer there, and I have current, I don't know what you would call it. I'm currently talking to Intertech, working out wages and home time. I'm in conversation with company Intertech, trying to get more home time at the moment. I've
Okay.
been actively looking. I was going to do the CDL school before I found out that I was paying attorney fees.
Okay.
So whenever I got this notice, I started looking back in the same industry to see if I can find a job where I can be home more, but there is no jobs in that industry where I can be home, and I can obviously not father my child coming home once every 2 months. So my goal is to be completely out of that industry,
Okay.
and I will no longer be making that money.
Okay, so so I think you had said you made around 83,000. Is it, I guess the number I was given is 83,174. Does that sound correct?
If you're looking at my W-2s, I would say that you're correct.
Okay. All right, I don't have your W-2. That's the number I was provided. So, but that sounds within the ballpark of what you made.
Should we take a pause and me pull up my W-2 since I
No.
provided it?
It's
So-
all right. Move on, move on.
Yeah.
It's 83,000 and some change. Move on.
Okay, so that comes out to roughly 6,900 a month, right?
Are we going to keep doing this? I don't have a calculator in front of me. Want me to do
Okay.
that?
So regarding, all right, I'll move on. Regarding your hourly rate at your previous job, what was it?
Come on, we know what the gross is. Okay, let's move
Okay.
on.
All right. Regarding your ability to cover Charlie on health insurance, do you have any access to private health insurance at this time?
I do not at this time, but she was under Medicaid the whole time I had that job. The whole time that I had the job, she had insurance, and she was also still drawing benefits. So that was not of my choice.
Okay.
I provided
Sir,
insurance
sir,
for that child for the last.
sir, again, you're trying to explain your answers again. Just listen to the question and answer the question. It's good enough.
Okay.
And we'll confirm whether or not the child was on Medicaid and whether or not that's based on mom's disability. Then, you know, it is what it is. Not a
Okay.
problem, sir. Thank you.
Regarding your prior job, did you have health insurance coverage for Charlie?
You just said no. Move on.
I didn't hear his
Oh, you
answer.
didn't hear that? Okay, sorry. You said
No.
it. Not sorry.
The entire time the child has been here and before she was born, she's been covered under insurance under my name, except for the last 2 months. Last month, maybe. Last 30 days, she hasn't had insurance. Under
Okay.
me, but she's still covered under Medicaid that she's had also the entire time.
Okay, so that's what I was trying to figure out. So you had her covered, but she was also covered on a government health insurance program, correct? So she was
The
double.
entire time.
Okay, all right. All right. Okay. Did you previously have dental coverage through your employer?
Mr. Brimhall, this
The
is a
child-
hearing.
Child's covered.
You're wasting time.
Well,
I'm ready to stop.
I'm not trying to wait.
I'm giving you 3 minutes to wrap it up.
Okay.
Mr. Brimhall.
Okay.
Thank you. You got it.
all right. I just want to, I just, my only, okay, I'll move on.
Yeah.
All right. Regarding just real quickly, regarding your communication with my client, what's the method that you usually use to communicate?
These days, people communicate through cell phones typically.
Okay.
Mr. Gordon, lose the attitude and answer the question, sir.
What
We
I'm asking,
communicate
do you
through
text, do you text or call or use Facebook Messenger? Tell me the means that you communicate.
We text or call, or we communicate through my family who she lives with.
Okay.
All right. And it sounds like you have access to a smartphone. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'll move on. I'll pass the witness for now.
All right, Ms. Hubbard, your witness.
Thank you. Mr. Gordon, for the job offer that you have right now with Intertech that you're currently in negotiations, do you have a definitive date when you will know whether or not you're going to accept that offer?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Do you have a next time to check in for negotiations to see if there's going to be amenable to you?
I checked in this morning. I emailed them, but I haven't been able to get on a phone call because I've been tied up. So active, working on it every day.
Okay. As far as the steel plant, you said you had a job offer. Is that job offer still open?
No,
Okay. Did you end up turning that offer down?
no, I was refused that job.
Okay. And I guess for the steel plant, what kind of job would it have been?
Installing machinery in steel plants, like factory work, installing the rollers that stuff goes down.
Okay. And for the job that you're looking at right now with Intertech, what kind of job would that be?
It's a telecommunications job.
Would it be climbing towers again or a different type of work for telecommunications?
That's what I'm negotiating, trying to find a job where I can be home.
What type of work would you be doing?
Installing communication networks.
Would it be
Whether
installing them in a building or on a tower?
Yeah. Whether that's on a building or on a tower is what I'm trying to negotiate. A communication network is a communication network. No matter what I find in that field, that is how you would label it.
As far as your prior work, how long did you work at that company?
My last company I was with for 3.5 years.
So you started it after Charlie was born?
Correct.
Okay. Oops, excuse me. All right. So during the time that you were with the company, you said you were only allowed to come back home once every 2 months?
It varied. It was anywhere from 6 to 8 weeks and sometimes longer. Once I didn't come home for 11 weeks. This is not a consistent job. That's why it's not a place to be working if you're trying to parent your children.
Okay.
I never once had set dates. It was always shifting and changing.
What did you do for visitation during the time that you only had those short periods off?
When I got a week off, Caitlin would I would either go home with Caitlin, or after we separated, she would let me take Charlie for my weeks off. So the time that I was home, I would get to see Charlie. For most days that I was home, she would let me pick her up and see her and then bring her back home.
And when did you and Miss Sullivan separate?
Last March.
Okay. All right. And you were providing support each month after you guys separated up until this past month?
That is correct.
Okay. I pass the witness.
All right, Mr. Gordon, which city do you live in Collin County, sir?
McKinney, sir.
All right, and do you know which city Ms. Sullivan lives in, sir?
Princeton, sir.
Okay, thank you. All right, anything on redirect, Ms. Sunker?
Your Honor, yes, just one or two questions, if you will allow it. I wanted to get it clear. Charles, do you think that if you were in different counties, do you think you would be able to be hands-on or have the same kind of parenting that you have right now with Charlie?
No, ma'am. If we're in separate counties and I have to get a job to pay all my responsibilities and for child support, it's going to make it very difficult to have weekends to be able to see my child.
Okay, so because of these special circumstances, you are asking the judge to consider keeping the child in the same county, is that right?
That's correct.
I have no further questions, Your Honor.
Mr. Brimo, your witness, make it fast, please, sir. Thank you.
Okay, the job that the steel one, I think that you said you were not made an offer for, what city was that in?
It was based out of Georgia. I don't even know the city.
Okay, and the one that you're currently negotiating, where's that one based out of?
Top Hill.
You said Top
C-O-
Hill.
COPPELL.
Okay, okay. Okay. Other than the two that you've already talked about, have you had any other job interviews or callbacks or anything of that nature?
No, sir.
And are you going through a recruiter or an agency, or how are you applying?
My plans varied greatly when I realized I was being sued. That's the only reason why I'm considering trying to get a job in telecom until the end of the year, because I have a baby on the way, apartment to get, car to buy, child support to pay.
Sir, again,
I've
you're
lost-
not answering the question.
So
You're not-
what I asked you is, are you using like an online platform to apply for jobs? Or are you just mailing applications? What are you doing?
I have LinkedIn accounts. I have been looking through network people I know. I've been doing all the things.
Are you
My
going?
plan was
Are you
school takes 4 weeks, so I couldn't enroll in CDL school because I'm having to deal with this now.
What,
So completely ruined my
all right,
plan.
I'm okay. I understand all of that. What I'm asking you is specifically how you're applying for jobs.
Mr. Brimo, stop. Let's move on, sir. Again, this is a temporary order.
Okay, I'll move on, Judge.
Thank you. Because I need to hear from your client, because
I'm passing the witness. I'm fine.
Mr. Gordon, you said you're expecting another child.
That's correct.
Is that with Ms. Sullivan?
No, sir.
All right, thank you. Ms. Hubbard, you're a witness.
No further questions, Your Honor.
All right,
For
then.
the questions, Your Honor, sorry.
All right, then I'm gonna go ahead and let Mr. Brimhall call his client as a witness, and then I'll do the circle again. So, Mr. Brimhall, your turn and your witness, sir. Call your first witness.
Okay, I'll call my client, Miss Sullivan.
Ms. Sullivan,
Yeah.
please state your full name for the record, ma'am.
Caitlin Sullivan.
All right, thank you very much, and you may proceed, Mr. Brimhall.
Okay, can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I can.
So, when did you move to Collin County?
In February, the beginning of February.
Okay, and prior to that, you were living in Coryell County, is that right?
Yeah.
And what kind of building or structure were you living in Coryell County?
We lived in a house.
And who lived there with you?
Just me, Charlie, and my mom.
Okay, and how long did your mom live with you?
She moved in after Charlie was born because Chase walked out of state.
Okay, so she's lived with you for quite a while then.
Yes.
Okay. And you're presently living with Mr. Gordon's mother, is that right?
Yeah, I live in a smaller apartment on the property.
Okay, very good. Is it connected to the main structure or separate?
It's separate.
Okay. Um, okay. Do you still have family members in the Bell or Coryell County area?
I do. My mom, my dad, and my grandma.
Okay. And at some point, is it true or not true that you may decide to move back to Coryell County?
I would like to if down the road if I can.
Okay. Now, I think it was brought up in an opening statement, but are you able to physically take care of Charlie?
Yes, I've been taking care of her since she's been born. Some things are harder for me, but I'm able to do.
Okay.
Sorry.
And I guess the biggest limitation for you is you're not able to drive, is that right?
Yeah, I'm unable to drive and I need assistance in walking.
Okay. And those are both of those limitations are a result of a health condition that you have, is that right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. All right. Um, and so when you were living with your mother and now that you're living with Mr. Gordon's mother, are these other individuals able to assist you in transporting Charlie wherever she needs to go?
Yes, his mom and especially his sister helped me a lot.
Okay, very good. So you have a good network of people that assist you.
I do.
Okay, very good. Um, are you, so you've heard all of Mr. Gordon's testimony, is that right?
I did.
Okay, so regarding his income, do you have has he told you anything specifically about his job hunting or job prospects or his reasoning for quitting that he didn't announce today or testify about today?
I thought he was going to start a job, but I think that's the one that he got denied with the 2 weeks leaving. So I think that was the steel one. But that was the only thing. Yeah.
Okay. Has he told you about not wanting to pay child support at all?
No. I just know that
All right. So regarding his income, he made 83,000 last year. Do you believe he's capable of making roughly the same amount at the same or similar job?
I know he is, but I know that some of that money I know was from they call it I think it was per diem. So I know that might be what some of that cost is from, and that goes to like where they spend like
his
hotel
job,
stuff.
yeah, okay. His job
Mhm.
paid for different things and
Yeah.
no,
So
okay, that's fine.
I did want to
All
make
right.
sure that it counted.
Regarding the way that the two of y'all communicate, do you usually text or actually voice call one another?
It's usually through text message.
Okay. And you have a smartphone as well, correct?
I do, yes.
Okay. Um, do you have any access to private health insurance?
No, I was just approved for my disability case. So I'm on Medicare now. So
Okay.
I'll be Medicare through the state.
Okay. Um, and how is Charlie's health insurance currently being provided?
She has Medicaid right now, but when I start my Medicare, I believe I can cover her under Medicare after when she turns 5 and she gets off Medicaid.
Okay. And her birthday is in the fall, right? She'll be 5 in this fall.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Um. Okay. Regarding, just briefly, regarding any kind of possession and access that you and Mr. Gordon have worked out, has he typically let you know in advance what days he needed or wanted to have as his periods of possession?
Yeah, he'll usually text me at the on the weekend or the beginning of the week and ask when he can see Charlie.
Okay, so it's usually at least a few days before, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or he'll
And y'all,
usually ask me when is a good day to see her.
okay, all right. All right, I'll pass the witness.
All right, real quick, ma'am, is the child in pre-K at this time or any schooling?
She's gonna get ready she can start pre-K in the fall.
Okay, I just want to make sure she's not on it right now. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Ma'am. All right, thank you. All right, then, Ms. Sunker, your witness.
Thank you, Anna. Ms. Sullivan, from the time that the two of you have been separated, has Charles been helping you with support and paying all of your expenses?
He's been helping with Charlie and paying helped me pay rent and stuff. Yeah.
Okay. And since the two of you have had to make your own arrangements for visitation, is he generally always trying to make sure he can get to see Charlie?
Yeah. He'll ask for her when he wants to see her, and he's always really excited to be able to see her. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, great. Because he's trying to find a job where he can see more of her,
No
but
objection.
he'll be
That's
And let
fine.
me-
would that be
I'm sorry,
something
sorry,
that
sorry.
would be okay for the two of you?
Sorry, just a second, ma'am, just a second. What's the objection, Mr. Brimall?
I was just objecting to counsel testifying.
Okay, well, she can lead the witness,
Okay.
Mr. Brimall, overruled.
No problem, Your Honor. I just wanted to ascertain if he was not earning $83,000 and he couldn't pay you much child support, would that be a problem?
It wouldn't. I just know I'm going to need help. If he's not making that much and can't, that doesn't matter to me. I just am going to need help. So that's all I care about is getting help. And I do need help with rides, and that's another thing that I'm gonna need help with. I depend on other people
Right.
for rides, and so I'm going to need his help with he's gonna have to help pick her up and drop her off.
Would it be better if he was closer to you, living closer to you, to make sure that he's always there to assist you?
No, that his family is very I'm very, very close to his family. His family is like my family. I just need his help to if we pick her up or we drop her off, I need him to drop her back off, or we take turns in that.
All right. So you're willing to go for standard visitation, standard possession order?
I'm not
Is
sure
that
what
what you're saying? The standard possession order will be every first, third, and fifth weekend of the month.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
And Charles will pick her up, or the two of you can make arrangements as to where Charlie will get picked up. Is that right?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, so you want to make sure that Charles maintains his relationship with Charlie. Is that right?
of course, yes.
Okay, all right. And so you wouldn't think, do you think it would be in Charlie's best interest if Charles had to take a job that would take him away for 3 or 4 months at a time? Do you think it would be in Charlie's best interest
I
for
don't,
dad?
No object that calls for a legal conclusion. The best interest
I don't
determined
think so.
made by the court. And
Yeah.
not
Well,
client.
we got a little lapse here, so just a second. I'm gonna sustain the objection. Ma'am, obviously that was a best interest question is, she doesn't know the standards for best interest under the Texas Family Code, Ms. Sunker, but I understand
All right.
she has a layman understanding of what's in her child's best interest. So, ma'am, you think it's best for Charlie to see?
Okay, let me see if I can rephrase. Okay.
Let me go ahead and ask it. Yeah, you think it's in Charlie's best interest to see her dad as much as possible? Is that correct, ma'am?
Yes.
That's
Yes, I
what
do.
okay, you may continue.
I'll pass the witness.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Anna. I'll pass the witness.
All right, Ms. Hubbard, your witness.
Thank you. Ms. Sullivan, do you feel that the support that you received from Mr. Gordon's mother or sister is any way preconditioned on you accepting a lower child support amount?
They're very, very helpful. They help me get places and they help me like get to the doctors. But I also help them in return. I also pay rent there. So I also do what I can to help them in return. So I think it's not just them helping me, but also I think we're like family. So I don't know if that answers your question.
So
But
if things were to go and say Mr. Gordon was very upset with what happens in court, you're not going to get thrown out.
no.
I pass witness.
Okay, Ms. Sullivan, you're getting a SSI or SSGI, ma'am?
I'm getting it's disability. I don't know
Okay.
what that is.
All right, and without going into the amount you're getting, you haven't looked in this. My understanding is that Charlie's going to be available. Well, your medical will cover her once you get Medicare, and you can move her over to that. Is that correct, ma'am? By your
Yes.
understanding.
Yes.
All right, now, is she entitled to any disability based on your disability?
She doesn't have any disabilities. She just has a heart issue. But
Yes, I'm saying, I'm not asking you, do you know whether or not she's eligible for some form of disability payments from the government based on the fact that you're getting?
I think so. I've called Social Security about that, and they said I had to go into the office.
Okay. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
in the interim, ma'am, I'm gonna have you look into that because for the final hearing, we'll need to know all that data, okay?
Okay.
All right, thank you very much. Your witness again, Mr. Brimall.
Just briefly, Ms. Sullivan, are you're wanting just guideline child support, correct?
Yes. Yeah.
Whatever the court feels is the guideline amount is what you're asking for.
Yeah. I'm not asking for anything crazy, just what
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll pass again. I don't have any other questions.
All right, Ms. Sunker, any other questions of the witness?
No further questions, Your Honor.
Ms. Hubbard?
No, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Brimall, any other witnesses, sir?
Not at this time, Judge.
All right, Ms. Hubbard, any witnesses you wish to call at this time, ma'am?
No, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Sunker, well, I did ask you already, so at this time, I'll listen to closing statements or closing arguments at this time. Technically, I'm looking at naming the parties joint managing service. I'm looking at giving mom the right to decide domicile. For right now, I'm probably looking at keeping that in Collin County, but I'll be amenable to changing things around at final hearing and when we get some updated information from dad on new job information, jobs, where he's going to be working, where he's going to be living, and I understand he has another child due, and what the due date on that child is, because again, that's going to change things around a little bit. So, Mr. Gordon, before I get too far down the pike here, what's the due date on the new baby?
That's Christmas.
Oh, so we got ways to go. All right, good. Thank you. All right, folks, let's get that closing statement. What's everybody asking for? And I'll start with you, Ms. Sunker, go to Mr. Brimall, and then go to the state. Thank you.
Thank you, Anna. From our side, we're just asking for some time for my client to get organized, get a job. We definitely would like to keep the geographic restriction. We want to have standard possession, and of course, as soon as my client is employed, we will share the information so that he can resume his child support. Further into the future, my client is definitely going to ask to be the primary caregiver of the child. I mean, he wants to be the person who designates the child's geographic location.
All right, thank you. All right, Mr. Brimall.
For today, Judge, asking that the parties be named joint managing conservators, that the right to decide the residence of the child be awarded to my client. If the court is inclined to grant a geographic restriction, Collin County and Coryell County, and Bell, just those three, I think, are all I'm asking for. And then a standard possession order, obviously, which includes the party's ability to make any agreement regarding that as needed. I am asking that app close be ordered. I think it's going to be helpful in this case. At least 48 hours advance notice and or confirmation planning between the two of them, just which sounds like has already been going on. And then reserving the issue of any back child support that may or may not be owed. And then regarding child support, my contention is that Mr. Gordon is very likely either unemployed intentionally or underemployed intentionally. He went from making $83,200 to making far less than that. So $83,174 a month comes out to $6,916 gross, which I believe makes child support $1,040 or so, $1,049, and medical support would be $312. If the court wants to award a lower amount for the interim period, I would request that the court go no lower than $5,900 a month, which I think he's capable of earning based on his work history, as the presumed gross amount, and then appropriate income, appropriate support ordered based on that income. And I'll certainly defer to whatever the state's calculations are regarding any child support amounts that they find to be the correct guideline amount.
All right, Ms. Hubbard.
Your Honor, the state is just asking for a temporary order in this case. The state defers to the court's ruling regarding the best interest of the child as far as conservatorship and possession and access. The state does believe that Mr. Gordon is intentionally underemployed and has been for a while. In this case, the state had calculated, I don't believe there was testimony today, but we had calculated a low end of $912 based on Mr. Gordon's salary without overtime or double time. And then based on his W-2 of $1,049. And for each of those, Medicaid for the first amount would have been $265. And for the second amount of child support, the appropriate amount of medical support would have been $312.
All right, thank you everybody very much. Okay, here's what we're gonna do, folks. Okay, Mr. Gordon, here's the deal, sir. The court hates it when someone, upon getting served with paperwork, leaves a job within 30 to 60 days. Alarms go off in my head like crazy, sir. I've been a board certified family lawyer for over 30 years now. And I wouldn't let that lie as a lawyer, and I don't let it lie as a judge, sir. So again, the coincidences, they happen, but I don't like them, and I don't, and I rule around them. But I'm looking at giving you some of the benefit of the doubt on this one, sir. But I'm gonna hold in advance the right to find, going further back, what the retroactive child support is going to be. But for right now, I'm gonna go ahead and order that you pay $700 a month child support, and that starts tomorrow. First, because there hasn't, by your very testimony, there hasn't been anybody received. You did not pay anything in the month of April. So I'm gonna go ahead and order $700 a month. I'm going to start the first day of May. I'm only gonna order $57 a month for temporary cash medical and give mom the opportunity to put the child on her Medicare once all this paperwork gets sorted out. But I understand based on her disability, the child can be on Medicare. Right now, the child's on Medicaid, and I only order 57. But like I say, I'm gonna look at being able to go back and change that in the future as far as what the retro is concerned. I'm going to keep the child's residence at this time and in Collin County for now. But again, I'll allow the mom to come in and petition the court the necessity to move if it turns out the support doesn't come in, or she needs to get back to her own family for even further support because of that. So in other words, sir, make sure you pay the child support and make sure you pay it for this month. I'm gonna go ahead and like I say, y'all be joint management service, give mom that right to side domicile. I'm leaving that in Collin County for right now, but upon 3 days notice of a hearing, we can always move. I can always expand that to Coryell and contiguous counties, or contiguous counties in Collin. But I need to get an update on where you're going to be, sir, and what you're going to be doing. I'm gonna go ahead and order the standard visitation package. For right now, that's obviously the weekends, and for the summer, this summer package this year, I'm gonna go ahead and just limit that to July 1 to July 15. Let me look at what are my dates in July. Let me change this around. Let me see what July is like this month. If Dad wants his summer package, let's see, calendars. Brain, give me one. There we go. All right, it's usually July 1 to July 30th, sir. I'm gonna go ahead and change yours around to this coming, if you want to do your summer visitation, it is Sunday, June 30th, and I'll take it all the way through Sunday, July 14th, if you want to do a summer package at this time. And that's what we'll make the summer package for 2024. I'll go ahead and give you that 15 days in there. I'm gonna go ahead and order the rest as the standard visitation package. I'm gonna go ahead and order that the parties use AppClose going forward. That way, everybody can track the information, verify the information going forward. And sir, always for the weekend visits, always give mom at least 48 hours advance notice that you're gonna pick the child up. You do AppClose, and for the summer, give her at least 72 hours advance notice. Hey, I'm picking Charlie up on the 30th, and then mom, and then and you have to give her a notice when you're coming back. You're responsible for pickup and drop off, sir, until further order of the court. And that's what I'm going to order for now, and we'll look at dates for further temporary order of final hearing date coming up. But again, I'll tell you what, I want a pre-trial on this and about on a general docket date. I'm going to put that about 30 to 45 days out. And that way we get an update on what Dad's financial circumstances are. And then we can look at final hearing dates. But until we know what his final financial circumstances are looking at, I don't want to set this for a final hearing. So let's look, I'm going to ask the lawyers, let's look at some Zoom dockets coming up, and let the parents look at their schedules to see if they can form and be able to do something.
Judge, if the court is inclined to do so, I am going to be present on a different case in your court on June the 30th, which is a Thursday docket.
That's a lot further out than I was anticipating, but that'll work.
Is that sooner? I'm sorry, I didn't catch that. Did you want to do later or sooner?
I was looking at doing a little sooner than that. I was looking at doing something 6 weeks out. Hopefully that will be, and that's closer to 8. But you know, it'll work.
Oh, no, June, I'm here on June 30th, or I could do, wait a minute, sorry. No, sorry, I meant to say May 30th. June,
Oh, okay,
sorry, I'm here on, I can do June 13th.
okay, that's a little bit better.
Yeah, I can do
Ms.
June.
Sunker, what's your schedule looking like for June the 13th, ma'am?
June 13th is okay with me, Yana. No problem.
All right, then, well, I'm gonna go ahead and set this for a pretrial on that date, and that way we can get an update on everybody's circumstances. And somebody needs to get back in before that date, just file a motion, and of course, I'll give everybody as much notice as possible on any type of motion that needs to be done before that date.
And
So,
and just to be clear, Judge, you're wanting to potentially review and or modify income for purposes of calculating or recalculating child support, correct?
correct.
Okay.
And again, I'm looking at setting it and also seeing, like I said, what everybody else's schedule looking for a special setting date is concerned on that date. So let's go ahead and reset it for the pretrial again on Thursday, June the 13th.
Did you
So-
want it at 10:45 or did you want it at 9?
I'm not doing the 10:45 stuff anymore since we started 9 o'clock these days. So
Okay.
I still have, for some strange reason. Okay.
Okay, no, that's fine.
So I have a special settings set for that day at 10:45. Obviously, that's before I start again. I probably did that before. I said we're not going to do that any longer. So
Okay.
you know, when I do those things going forward, I'll just go ahead and take those up first, and that way, because we usually get them based on the new 9 o'clock, we usually start those by 10:30, and I can always take those up first and just do it that way. And in those special settings, I usually do. It's pre-trials, yeah, they only take 15-20 minutes anyway, so we can just do those first. So I'll start with Ms. Sunker. Any questions, ma'am? Anything you need me specifically rule on? Any questions you have on behalf of your client, especially concerning me moving everybody over to AppClose?
I have no other concerns or questions, Your
All
Honor.
right,
Thank you.
Anything else, Mr. Brimall?
No, I don't have anything.
All right, I'll let the parties know any questions y'all have, you need to run them through your attorneys and they can give you that information. Ms. Hubbard, anything else, ma'am?
No, Your Honor.
All right then, folks, I'll see everybody back here on June the 13th. And like I said, we'll set this for a pretrial. And the pretrial, folks, is to set the thing for a final hearing. And the final hearing will be on a special setting docket where the only case I would have at that time will be your case. And I usually make those settings for up to 3 hours. And I'll let the attorney announce for how long they'll need on a special setting at that time. All right, so may the parties be excused at this time, Ms. Hubbard. Does anybody need to go, or any of the parties wish to speak to their attorneys? Obviously, the attorneys and their clients can speak in breakout rooms as necessary. All right.
Yes, I'll talk to my client in a breakout room, but that's fine.
Yes, I'd like the same thing, please, Laura.
All right, so if you put them all in breakout rooms and then make them co-hosts, and that way they can leave when they need to. And for this time frame, we're off the record. Of course, going to finish doing the docket sheet. And I'm going to break for lunch because it's now 1:25 and I'm going to try to go grab some. Oh God, that means a Sonic. Oh no. Anyway, I'm going to reset this now. I'm going to break for lunch and I'll be back on by 2:15. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.